So here's the usage of map and filter functions that you just learned about. These two functions are pretty useful in Python, and they're often used by developers who come from a functional programming background. So the concept of mapping and filtering lists is very natural to them. But in Python, we have another feature for achieving the same result. And as far as I know, we don't have this feature in other programming languages. That is called comprehension. So let me show you how that works. Here's the basic syntax. We add our square brackets for defining a list, and here we'll write a comprehension expression like this. Expression for item in items. Well, this part is very familiar to you, right? It's like a for loop. So we are iterating over an iterable and then applying this expression on each item. In this example, if you want to get the price of each item, we can write an expression like this, item of 1. So this is what we call a list comprehension, and it produces the exact same result as what we have on line 7. So let's store the result in prices. As you can see, this code is shorter and cleaner. We don't have all these parentheses and colon. In my opinion, what we have on line 7 is a little bit ugly and noisy. Now, some developers might disagree with me, but generally speaking, in the Python community, the preferred way to map and filter lists is to use list comprehensions. But I wanted to include the map and filter functions in this course because as you look at the code written by others, you'll probably come across instances of using the map and filter functions. So I wanted to make sure that you really understand how they work. But as a best practice, my recommendation to you is to use list comprehensions because they're cleaner and also more performant. So this is how we can use a list comprehension to map a list into a different kind of list. Now, as part of this mapping, we can also filter items. So if I want to rewrite what we have on line 10, using a list comprehension, that would look like this. Filtered, we set it to square brackets. So we're defining a new list, no need to call the list function. In between the brackets, we'll write an expression. So here's the syntax, expression for item in items. Now, what is the expression here? Well, in this case, we don't want to map the list of items to list of prices. So our expression is simply the item itself. So basically, we'll iterate over the list of items. We'll get each item and simply return it. However, we want to filter them. So we'll add an if statement if item of 1 is greater than or equal to 10. Once again, I personally find what we have on line 11 more readable and cleaner than what we have on line 10. But if you want to use the map or filter functions, that's perfectly fine.